Hi, everybody. Welcome to the latest episode of Real Talk with Rick. I am pleased to bring in for this episode Cindy Eddy with the Prop Shop. And I don't think when we get into our discussion do we actually define what prop means. We say prop a lot and prop shop, but prop stands for people reaching out to other people. And the prop food shelf and the prop shop and the many different programs of prop are a huge part of a social service that's provided in Eden Prairie and in Chanhassen and a few other cities as well. But it's a huge part of the safety net and social service here in Eden Prairie. So Cindy Eddy is the executive director of the Prop Shop, and that's located on Martin Drive. The Prop Food Shelf is also located on Martin Drive at a different address. But Cindy talks about how the Prop Shop developed actually out of the Prop Food Shelf. She talks about the retail operation, the items that they receive, the household goods that are provided to our needy families in Eden Prairie. And even though I press Cindy quite a bit on what she likes to do in her spare time and what she does when she's not at the Prop Shop, it was very hard to get her to talk about anything other than her work with and passion for the Prop Shop, which if you've met her, that would be very clear to you. But if you haven't met her or you've met her, I think you'll find the conversation that I had with Cindy a very interesting one. So here is my conversation with Cindy Eddy of the Prop Shop. Cindy Eddy, Executive Director of the Prop Shop, thank you for coming in here this morning.
Thank you. This is going to be fun.
Awesome. So we're going to start right with what is the Prop Shop? When did it start? Where is it located?
Okay, the Prop Shop right now is on Martin Drive, 15195 Martin Drive in Eden Prairie. We got it started in April of 2007, but we talked about it for a couple of years before then. We talked about it at length.
So it's been around for over 12 years.
Right.
What is the Prop Shop?
Okay, the Prop Shop is a resale store and a free store. The building has two sections. The front of it is resale. That's our fundraiser. The back section of the building is free for families of low income. So what happens is people from the community donate their goods. We fill the free store first, and then we sell portions of it, get it all cleaned up, and we sell that, and that's how we make our money. So in the store, we don't sell blankets, sheets, towels, beds, pots and pans, silverware, anything basic for a family, little kids' clothes. That all goes straight to families.
Right.
And so families are referred to us from churches, the food shelf primarily, schools, or by word of mouth. We're not part of a government situation. This is a private thing. And so we can really help anybody that comes in the door if we want to.
Right. And I've been there. So I know some of these answers, but people listening might not. But people donate, and you have connections to organizations, but people come in and donate, and some of what they donate you're going to see in the store for resale, whether it be clothing or books, CDs, furniture, whatever. And then it is treated. You walk in, you come in there, and it is like a thrift store.
It's a store.
It's a store, absolutely. And then there is that portion that is an area that serves people in need, and they come into that area in what can be a discreet manner.
Right. They've got their own entrance, but it also just looks like a store.
Yes. Shelves and
all
sorted out.
And people come around with a shopping cart and shop. Everybody can come once a month. But people always say, how do you decide what goes into the store and what goes into the free store? Well, we fill that first. And because we don't know what's coming in, we have no idea what's going to be donated. It might be, we get 1 million pairs of pants, this week and no shirts. Yeah. So the people who are in the free store decide, well, we're really low on men's shirts. So they'll tell the people who are sorting, we need more men's shirts. And families come first, so we always will take anything from the store just to help a family if we don't have it in the free store.
Sure. And how big is it? What's the size of the store?
Okay, the free store is 2,500 square feet, and the store is 3,500 square feet. So they're not huge, but they're really decorated well.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, we try and make sure everything is really clean and displayed well in both sections, because we want to sell it, and we want to have these families coming in maintain what little dignity they have left.
Sure. When are you open?
We're open every day. Okay, Mondays, Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday until 5, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday until 7. 7. And we start at 10.
Do you get pretty consistent traffic 7 days a week?
Yes, we do. We really do. We opened on Mondays. We were closed on Mondays, but we opened on Mondays because of the Goodwill in Chanhassen, because they were getting all the donations on Mondays when we were closed.
Okay. So it's kind of, I wouldn't call it competition, but you had to be, once they came, you wanted to be open when they're open to provide the option for people to and that's a good point, by the way. When we talk about the prop shop, this is obviously mainly an Eden Prairie podcast, but the prop shop is serving Eden Prairie and Chanhassen.
Right, Eden Prairie and Chanhassen.
Yeah, right.
Parts of Chanhassen for the families. But, of course, anybody can shop there.
Oh, absolutely.
Anybody from anywhere, and we really want them to.
Well, I mean, I know even you let people from Edina shop there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we let them all in. We don't even check their IDs.
Okay, all right. So that's a good question. Do you get people that'll come in and say, maybe I have family in the West Metro, but I'm from St. Paul, and I just discovered this place, and this is interesting to either shop from or donate to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. People come in and they find out what we do, and we're not similar to other nonprofits. First of all, we're tiny and we're small, and we're not connected to a big organization.
Not United Way, not Goodwill. It's completely.
It's just us, and we don't write grants. So we're not supported by Eden Prairie or a church or the county or the government. We're independent. We're completely supporting ourselves by what we sell in the store.
That's it. And so what is your source of income?
The store.
Yeah.
And then we ask for small grants from like the Lions or the Rotary or small big organizations like that we're not asking for a ton.
Right. So we talked a little bit about. You mentioned it started in 2007. So what was the impetus for that? How did that begin? What was tell me the origin story then.
Okay. I had a friend from college whose cousin started to sponsor Hmong families. And I helped her sponsor a Hmong family. So I was going around collecting goods, and then I got real involved in the Hmong community and their issues. And so I started collecting stuff for families all the time. My husband Bob didn't have his car in the garage for 17 years. And so pretty soon people are leaving bags of stuff in my front door and in my car because I never locked my car. I'd come back and there's all kinds of bags of stuff. Yeah. So then I was volunteering at the food shelf. They had a little clothing closet for kids, just kids.
Okay.
And then about 2005, I think it was around 2005, Eden Prairie Prop Food Shelf had the biggest increase of food shelf usage of any food shelf in the state. They had a 550% increase, which was huge.
Yeah.
So I'm volunteering there, and we only have clothes for kids. And their families are there, and they're adults, and looking for beds, and people are requesting, I have a bed I want to donate, and somebody needs a bed. And so Bob and I started to try and do the furniture ourselves, on weekends and borrowing trucks and things, and it was out of control. There was too many. Kind
of on the side. So, I came here in 2011, and I know where Prop Food Shelf is, and I know where Prop Shop is, but at that time in 2005, is that located here at City Center, right?
It was. But just barely.
Just barely?
Yeah, just downstairs.
Just downstairs. But at that time, there's this need for the furniture and the beds and everything else.
And there was no
place for it.
No.
And so you're kind of doing it kind of on the side as part of the food shelf.
Yeah.
And then
because I had that access, I had started doing that for Hmong families. So we started doing it for these families. But it became too much for the two of us.
Right. And the garage.
And I didn't have a truck, and I was borrowing them and renting them. And it was really not easy.
So then the concept was opening up a shop.
Well, we wanted to figure out how we could get stuff to people.
Okay.
And so we went to all 19 churches to see if somebody would give us some space to give away clothes. Nobody had any space.
Okay.
So then we said, this is a big deal. We got to try and do something. How are we going to do it if nobody's going to donate the space? Okay, we'll have to sell stuff too. We'll have to sell things to finance it. And so then I was trying to have somebody, give us a building or not charge us. And then it's like, no, that's not going to work. So I went to 4 different places. This is, I think, what really pushed us.
Okay.
I had the lease signed in 4 different places. And the people came back and said, we don't want that in our building. We don't want that kind of crime. We don't want that kind of people in my building.
Wow.
We're like, what?
Yeah,
Are
what
you
kind of
kidding?
people?
These mothers looking for snowsuits, rough bunch.
Yeah.
Seriously. So then we get to the next place, and they said, we're worried about the safety of our other employees in the area. Safety? So automatically you're a criminal if you're low income? And then the next place, the guy actually said to me, what's going to happen to my business if dames are coming in next door to buy dresses? Dames. He said dames.
Dames. Yeah.
Dames.
That doesn't date that person at all.
No.
No.
But I couldn't believe that people were concerned with this. I said, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? So then we ran into Jim Bergen of Bergen Auto Body, and he wanted to sell his building, not rent it, but it was 2 days before Christmas. And he's a really nice guy. And so he rented to us.
Okay.
And that's how we got started.
That's how you got started. Did you, by the way, this thought that if we're going to fund this, we have to sell. We have to be
Make
a
some
resale
money.
shop. Was there a couple other concepts in the area that you thought of, or you visited those places, or
all of them?
Okay.
I went all around. I asked everybody. I got information. I researched, and everybody. They all said you're going to need about $75,000 to get this started.
Okay.
Well, we did not have that.
Okay.
And I had a friend give me $10,000. I put in some money. I had another wonderful man Gary Bergeron gave me $10,000. And so that's how we started, and then we did volunteers. And then I hooked myself up with some wonderful, wonderful women who were involved in the schools and local politics.
Okay.
And so they had a broad network of people that they knew. And so we got the volunteers. We found somebody who would help us with the website. We found somebody here. And I was a salesperson. I used to sell contact lenses and ophthalmic drugs, and before that I sold copiers for Pitney Bowes, door to door.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm a sales gal.
So the door to door is going cold calling businesses
in my territory.
In your what was your territory?
Oh man, I had the stockyards. I had White Bear Lake. It was bad. Yeah.
But once you sold a copier, we'll get back to prop shop. Once you sold a copier, though, that was an account that you had, so you managed those accounts?
Well, no, we had specific territories.
Okay.
I had 2 blocks here. I had a building downtown.
Okay.
There's 65 of us out of the Minneapolis office.
All right.
And they had 3 telephones. We had to just go out and do it. And this is the end of the 70s, the beginning of the 80s, and it was not a good economic time at all. And I'm trying to sell mailing machines.
Right.
Yeah. So it was the best experience anybody could ever have. My manager used to say, you can't leave an opportunity, he'd call them, until you hear no 11 times.
11 times?
11. So I'd
so
keep asking.
So you got really good at rejection.
So good at rejection.
So good at So then that paid off in terms of shaking the tree for money and volunteers.
And look at this. I'm looking at a little kid who doesn't have shoes. That's a heck of a lot easier to sell than a mailing machine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing with the door-to-door cold call is I always make the comment, like someone will walk in and they're selling, I've got some cleaner for your carpet, or I'm going to sell this mailing machine, and I'll say, oh my gosh, I've been waiting for you to walk in. I've been waiting for you to come in and sell me this. That's hard, because if someone wants something, they'll find it. But you're just going to walk in and convince someone, hey, nice to meet you, I'm Cindy, you need a mailing machine today.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, man.
So that probably made the prop stuff pretty easy then.
Simple falling off a log.
Falling off.
Seriously.
Well, but money and volunteers, right? Because at the shop, that is who's there. People that are staffing the 7 days of the week, these are volunteers.
Mm-hmm. We have staff members now because we have had 2,900, almost 3,000 volunteers in 12 years. That's the kind of community this is. Eden Prairie.
That's awesome.
3,000.
Yeah.
That's an awful lot of people. And the shifts are short, but I've got some people who come every day. I've got some people who come twice a week. Some just come in the summer. Some just come in the winter. As a matter of fact, last year we had 540 volunteers. 230 were new, and 160 were kids. We have a lot of kids.
That's great.
You can let her in volunteering in Eden Prairie.
Yes.
And kids need hours for college, getting into college, all kinds of things. And we see a lot of kids who come in. It takes a lot of training because there's so many things that we can have them do. But some come back forever. They come back after they graduate from high school. They come through college. It's really, I didn't expect this part of this.
That's great. So I think you touched on some of what you find in the store and some of what's available to families in need. What are the big, like, I think you talked about beds, because I saw a story recently where you provided your 2000th bed. Right? So beds have been a big deal.
Beds are a big deal. We also give families furniture, and so we have a request list, and it's usually tables and chairs, dressers, and beds.
Okay.
We usually have 20 to 40 families at all times waiting for beds.
Okay.
And now these are used. We can only take beds that are in good condition and clean and not stained, and then we take the next person on the list and we deliver the beds. And then sometimes we get box springs and sometimes we get mattresses, and then we will go buy the other parts, to make a bed.
Well, and one of the things, I think this was just within the last 5 years, because of the furniture in the beds, there wasn't space at the 3,500 square foot facility for that. So you guys went out and found another
building.
Yeah,
we bought another
right?
building.
Yes.
Yep.
So talk about that.
That's just, it's about a block and a half down Martin Drive. It was really lucky. In Eden Prairie, there's only 11 buildings that are 10,000 square feet or less. Not available, existing. Okay. And so they're not economical to build anymore, so people hang on to them, and they don't go on the market. And so one of our board members was at a party and heard somebody say, hey, my neighbor's selling a building. That's how we found out about it. And it's 5,000 square feet, and it's our warehouse. That's where we store furniture, off-season clothes.
Yeah, it's nice and close to the.
It's really close.
The other location.
And we don't have a sign on it because we didn't want to confuse people, because the prop food shelf is pretty close to it also.
Okay. What do you get new items that you sell?
We get sometimes new.
Okay.
But, like we get a lot of salesman samples and things.
Okay.
And then Super Value helps us quite a bit with non-food items.
Okay.
And it's a lot of seasonal things. Some products like, shampoo and things. We don't get a lot of that, but we really could use it.
Use it. How do you figure out how to price stuff? Is there like a retail expert volunteer that helps you figure out?
We have a limited number of people who price, because everything is based on your own opinion. If you think it's ugly, you're not going to want to put a good price on it. So we have just a few number of people who price.
Okay.
And to keep it consistent. And we're pretty much lower than a consignment shop.
Okay.
We wanted to make it economical for low-income people, but we need to make some money.
Right, because like I said, I've looked at the books, I've looked at the shoes, some of the furniture, and it's just, I just kind of think about how do they determine what to price.
And it's spectacular stuff. It's Eden Prairie donations. It's shocking. It's shocking to me, the quality of what we're getting. It kills me.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. We're so grateful. But it's beautiful things that aren't used. I mean, it's really, you got to come in there because you can't believe it.
Yeah. Is there a clearance rack? If stuff's not moving, we need the clearance rack?
We put a different color every month and of a price tag that we make out of cardboard our own paper.
Yeah.
Because our main policy is we don't pay for anything if we don't have to. Because we buy things for families. We buy socks and underwear, blanket sheets and towels, pots and pans, mittens, boots. And so any extra money we spend, if we're not frugal, literally takes socks off some little kid. Mm-hmm. So that's our goal, is to get help, have people help us, and figure out how to do it and be resourceful.
Well, and I know the whole mission of this is a store supporting families in need.
Right.
So I talked about 2,000 beds. If I look at some of the stats on your website, 2,000 beds, 3,000 volunteers since 2007.
This shocks me. That kills me.
2,700 families served, 116,240 bags of items given.
We're helping 12% of Eden Prairie.
That's, yeah.
12%.
700. So 700 active client families means that there's a database of 700 people that are
active.
Active.
Doesn't mean that there's a lot of people who don't come back.
Okay.
The average number of times a family comes in for help is 4. Everybody can come once a month.
4
total.
Okay, so everyone can come once a month. So the average time frame is a 4-month period of time.
They can come once a month.
Okay.
You know, maybe they come in and they're looking. We help about 20 families a day, 15 to 20 families a day. So if you're the 12th family and you're looking for size 8 boys pants, the odds that we have them are, dependent upon what's been donated, we may not have them. So they might want to come in the next month, or they're looking for a certain pair of size shoes. And
sure.
we might not have it. So some people will come in and we'll help them get furniture and get their household set up, and we won't see them for 4 years, and they come back because somebody's zipper broke and they're looking for a coat.
Okay.
It's not what people think. One of the first things that people say to me, to a person, is, how do you know they're not taking advantage of you? What? These people come in and nobody wants to say, I can't do it. Nobody. They come in their basket cases. I can see the depression. They've just had the worst day possible in their life, the very worst day that could ever happen. They've lost everything. Their husbands died. They've lost their job. They have no insurance. And they assume that they're coming in here just to take advantage, that they're coming here for a scratch frying pan and somebody else's pants, somebody else's, sweaty, icky shoes. Mm-hmm. Well, they're not sweaty or icky, but, that's something that people are going to try and take advantage of. It just makes me crazy when people do that. Nobody's going to do that. Mm-hmm. And the people we see, one after another, and they're so grateful. Families are so grateful they don't have any place to turn. I gave a woman a frying pan last week, and she burst into tears. It's not what people think. Yeah. Our biggest requested item are spoons. I mean, it's not at all. People aren't driving up. People say, well, they had a really nice coat on. Yeah, they probably got it at the prop shop. Nobody gets to judge anybody else. You have no idea what's happened.
Yeah.
It's medical costs. The way our government is set up with medical costs, I've got one family who's been paying back a medical procedure for 9 years.
Yeah, well, I mean, but do you have stories of a lost job, a homeless situation, an insurance devastation, and people come back maybe 4 years later and say, for that 4 months that I came, that helped put me on my feet. And do you have?
I've got one right here.
Okay.
A family came in and we got them set up with beds and clothing and got her set up. She came back with 4 $50 Target gift cards. She said, "Can you please distribute these gift cards? Thank you."
Yeah.
Okay, like this. These are quotes from customers, clients. "This place is wonderful. The team workers are awesome. I like to be in this place. It's good when you're helped with love."
That's awesome.
Okay. I would like to impress how blessed I feel knowing in my heart that there's some place helped me and my family after suffering an aneurysm. I feel safe. Thank you. Okay, the prop shop has been a great help to me and my children. I moved here to Minnesota with nothing. They helped in more ways than they will ever know. I got hundreds of these. People are so grateful. They come back, they donate, they make food for us. I have 2 past clients that are staff members now. They come back and volunteer. I got a couple from Russia, and they moved here because their son was here, and they didn't have anything. And she was a professor. She was a psychology professor, and he ran the athletic department at a university in Russia. So they're here. They needed help, and they volunteer now twice a week. They walk. They have to walk on Martin Drive. There aren't any sidewalks. And they walk down and volunteer. And they're both citizens now. It's the greatest. It's just the greatest story. I love talking to both of them.
Well, that's the piece about, based on your numbers that there's a need and you're doing well, but just to have the actual stories of people that have been served and then coming back, that's just probably bolsters the next day and the next week and the next month.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Yeah. I was driving through the parking lot and there was a woman wearing a plaid shirt, and I said, "Hey, I really like your shirt. I like plaid." And she said, "Oh, you don't know me, but I know you." And I said, oh, okay. She said, I was here 6 years ago, but I haven't come back, but I fell off a ladder and I hurt my foot. And the doctor said if I don't wear shoes that fit, it's going to get worse. And I've been wearing my son's shoes, but they're 5 sizes too big. And she said, wouldn't you know, I came to the prop shop, and there were 3 pairs of shoes that fit me.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, ugh. Then I found out later, I can't hear the stories anymore. I can't. I have a depression problem, and my trigger is vulnerability. And this is probably the worst job I could ever have in the world because of that. But my staff are the most wonderful people known to the human race. They don't tell me things. They push me out of rooms. I can't hear this stuff. I can't let it go.
Sure.
And that particular woman was one of the worst stories we've ever had. And here she is, so much better shape, and everything is okay.
Yeah.
We have abuse situations. We have everything that could make somebody vulnerable. We have one of my favorites is there's 4 little boys, and they're like 3 years apart. And their dad walked out. The mom was a stay-at-home mom, didn't pay the mortgage. They had nothing. So they came to us, and we got them clothes, and they got an apartment, but they didn't have any furniture. And she came in and asked for a bed, table and chairs. And we got her a table and chairs, and we'd had beds and everything. They wanted to be able to eat together. And they ran into Julie, who's in charge of our furniture, at a grocery store, and they were hugging her. And she said, this is the lady, you know, who got us the table. And so the mother called and said, I just wanted to tell you that the guys are having lemonade stands, and they decided that they wanted to give half the money to the prop shop. So all summer they had lemonade stands. They were going to try and make enough money to go to a water park. They gave us $62.43, half of their money.
Wow.
So they couldn't afford to go to a water park, but they could go to movies and have snacks. So every year we send them to a water park.
That's awesome.
But I got all of them in the newspaper. You know, I got a picture of them so they could show the other kids, you know, what they did.
With their impact.
Yeah, I got so many of those. They're actually wonderful because we see people that are on the other side of some kind of terrible emergency.
Right.
It's a death, a disease, an illness, an accident.
Yeah.
You lose your job. You can't sell your house. You've lost your insurance. Your son's medication's $300 a month. You're driving a late model luxury car, but you're just about to lose it. Mm-hmm. You don't have any idea what's going on with your neighbors.
Right.
I mean, we've helped 5 families from Bear Path. Mm-hmm. And you don't know what's going on. People hit a rough point in their lives, and they're okay. They get okay, and they're on the other side.
Right. Well, I mean, you talked about the origin of the store, that this stereotype of the kind of people that you're going to serve and that are going to come in. That's a perception you've been
listen to
trying
this.
to break.
Okay, so just with that. So here it is. You've hit the worst time in your life, the very worst time. Everything is the worst you've ever been, and people assume that this is your fault. You know, this is something you've done, a bad decision. You're probably a criminal. You might be dangerous, and that's the perception people have of low income, and this is what you're faced with. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. The stereotype. I can't describe it to you. It really upsets me.
I can tell.
Well, it's so unfair.
Well, absolutely. But I think
nobody gets to judge. Nobody gets to judge somebody else. You don't know what's happened.
But you have a lot of people. That's true. And it's important, and you're out there and educating Prop Food Shelf, everyone about the numbers, the issue, the concern. It's your neighbors. It's everybody. It's all of Eden Prairie. It's the same thing we talk about with the opioid heroin epidemic.
Yeah.
It's everybody and anybody. It's no particular person or group of people. It's completely understood.
Nobody gets to judge.
Right.
I mean, didn't we all kind of learn that in Sunday school? I guess not.
Some did. Many did.
Quite a bit did.
You did.
Yeah.
Did
I get upset? I'm sorry.
I don't know. I understand.
I'm really not sorry. I'm not sorry.
You're
at
not
all.
sorry at all. You're passionate. No, it's Cindy. That's awesome. What? So it's been like 12 years. So are the challenges the same? Is it we need winter clothes? We need beds. We need furniture. We still have people. Is there anything different now than 12 years ago, or is it just consistently the same? Your challenges?
It's pretty much consistently the same. We have about 30 new families a month. We help about 350 families a month. And there's some people that are going to need, we have people that are blind or deaf or missing limbs, and they're going to need help for, and that's fine. But people do get back on their feet. And it's just amazing. We have a program called Secret Shopper where we've got these lists of people. And families will come in, and we always need specific things like steel-toed boots, fans in the summer, heaters in the winter, raised toilet seats, specific things that maybe we don't have. And we put them on a list, and these people on these lists, these nice people, either go find it or buy it. And so that's a wonderful thing. Like, say you get a job at Target, but you don't have a red shirt or khaki pants. So this was great. We had a kid who got a job at Target. And somebody went out and bought him, 2 red shirts and 2 khaki pants. And so he came in, and shoes. She bought him shoes, too. And he came in and was so excited to show us before he went on his first day of work.
That's neat.
Yeah.
That is neat.
So we try and meet the needs that we can, but it's not always that easy.
Sure.
Well, we had a couple of homeless men, and they needed Depends. And so we've got people who buy them.
Sure.
We've got... Right now, we always have about 20 homeless families. And right now, we've got about 10 who've signed up for the coat drive. We have a coat drive, and the distribution is in October. These families are tethered to Eden Prairie for some reason. Their kids were in school, jobs. They are a part of Eden Prairie, but they've come into hard times. Mm-hmm. They're living on somebody else's couch, or with a neighbor, or with a relative, or in their cars.
Sure. Yeah, I know that definitely exists. Are you seeing, in terms of donations, this whole Marie Kondo tidying up? Yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
Yes. I think that had a huge impact.
Okay.
It was big.
Yeah.
And we were just giddy about it. Well, it makes sense.
Right.
I always call Eden Prairie the land of conspicuous consumption and excess. I mean, there's so much here. That's probably why we're kind of successful.
Sure.
Because there's a lot of people with more donations. And we have a lot of really qualified, educated women who don't need to work. I've got a lot of professional women who are volunteers.
That's great.
Our marketing person is a marketing person. She's, a volunteer. Got a lot of attorneys and MDs, and it's real interesting.
So, I mean, we have the need, we have the problem, we have the items, we have the people. So over these past 12 years, you've been able to just keep bringing in more and more volunteers and keeping them, and the word gets out, so you haven't struggled for that. When I read about you, it's more like you said, it's the fall or winter coat drive. We need beds, we need furniture. I've never heard we need volunteers. Maybe specific items you talk about, certain size shoes or whatnot.
Right.
But
we do every once in a while need volunteers.
So how can people do that? How could people do that? How do you, let's say someone's listening to this and now they want to...
contact Alicia at the prop shop.
Okay.
And our shifts are 2 hours.
Okay.
And you don't have a requirement with how many times you have to come.
And
you can come once.
Yep. And or fill your truck or van up and just drive over.
Right.
Right?
And then if you have furniture that needs to be picked up, we do pick up furniture on Thursdays and Saturdays. My husband pulls a trailer with volunteer kids, and they pick up furniture and deliver.
Okay.
We do Thursday nights and Saturdays, but it has to be in good condition.
Okay.
We won't have the access to be able to clean or fix things. And people often say, well, if they don't have anything, they take this. Well, no. These people, their dignity has been smashed.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give somebody something crummy.
No,
it needs to be clean and in good shape.
Right.
We're helping people. We're not just,
helping
rid of your stuff.
Helping you get rid of your junk.
Right.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure that happens now and then where you can't take something, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, broken, damaged.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, organizations like this, it's kind of industry-wide that you can only keep about 20% of what you get. It's damaged, broken, off-season. So we have a 16 by 8 by 10-foot trailer that's picked up 4 times a week.
Okay.
And it's organizations like the Salvation Army, the Courage Center, the Epilepsy Foundation, not places like Goodwill. That's a different kind of situation.
Okay. So we touched upon you personally selling copiers and mailing machines and your passion for this that came about from being a volunteer at the prop food shelf, which morphed into this prop shop. So, what else do you do in your spare time?
I don't have any.
You don't have any spare
I don't
time?
do anything else.
Zero.
No.
This is it. Okay. So
Because there's a lot of talking. You've got all the volunteers, the shoppers, the donors, the clients, the staff. I can't talk anymore when I get home. And I'm an
Okay.
extrovert, which is kind of shocking.
Okay.
I can't even speak.
So, but
I don't wanna do
is
anything.
Bob okay with that when you get home and you can't speak? He's fine with that, right?
He's probably happier.
Yeah. So I have 3 daughters. You have 2 daughters. So you have family. I mean, you have time. You have some time to spend with family. You have 2 daughters that went through Eden
Prairie High School.
Eden Prairie High School, and so you've got family, and you've got a great husband. So it's
And they're involved.
Yeah.
Bob is there whenever he can. He likes it. Thank goodness. That'd be terrible.
that'd be tough. Wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
that would
Yeah,
be tough. But he
yeah.
really likes it. And it's happy there. It's very happy. Where there's large crowds of people, we're all helping the neighbors. And that's endorphins. That's huge. It's like a runner's high. If you walk in the place, you get a feeling, this is happy. My volunteers say that all the time. They feel so good when they're there and when they leave. And there's work to do. We don't hire it. We don't hire things done. We do the painting. I barter with people. The Maple Crest landscape is so wonderful. They do all our plowing and mowing. But then I let him plug his truck in at my other building all winter.
Yeah.
But he doesn't need to donate all of that. He's everybody's a part of this.
Yeah, doing that out of the mission of the organization. So we 5 years ago was the acquisition of the other building. What about 5 years from now? Is there?
Well,
what do you see 5 years from now?
I don't know. I'm scared to death about it.
Okay.
Here's the deal. When we were starting this, I didn't want to be a nonprofit that says, "Here, I want to do this. You pay for it." I can't risk that with grants, and maybe we'll get the money and maybe we won't. So I wanted to be able to make sure that we were self-sufficient. So I wasn't paid for the first 10 years, and because of that and the growth, we were able to buy our building, so we own it. And a nonprofit doesn't pay property tax.
Right.
So we just have our utilities. So that's security. So when we bought the other building, it's half paid for now. And when that's paid for, we will be able to be having collateral and all that security. If something happens, we could borrow against this and still be helping families.
Okay, so yeah, you have the assets.
Yeah.
And okay, so
That was
financially,
critical.
right?
That was critical. We want to be able to be secure.
But I don't get the feeling that over the next 5 or 10 years there'd be less donations or less people shopping.
No, what we found is everything is growing by word of mouth.
Okay.
Did you read that book, Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell?
I did.
I feel like maybe that woman's book or just word of mouth. I don't know what's happened, but our donations have been very good. But we always need more. I mean, we will always need more. The families will always need more. And the more donations we have, the more we can do for people. And the more we sell, the more money we can have to buy specific things for families.
Good.
To help them. So it's actually been, this community has been something. This Eden Prairie is really, we feel so fortunate for the people, the donors, and the response we get, the volunteers. People are so supportive of the city. I'm not just saying that because I'm talking to you, but the city people have been so supportive. It's just it's amazing, actually.
Well, that's good to hear. I mean, I wouldn't have expected you to say that you're worried about the prop shop in the next 5 or 10 years, but I just kind of want to get a feel for what you think's happening.
I'm not worried. If we had more space, we could make more money and help more people, and we could have more space to have things for the families. We could do bikes and sporting goods and things that we don't have space for right now. So ideally, I would really like someone to give us about a 25,000 square foot building. That's what we really want.
Okay.
I want somebody to just give it to us.
All right.
We don't want to pay for it. No,
I understand.
We are always looking for ways to grow and things that we can do about the future. And if there's another building that comes up, we'd like to maybe think about that.
Sure. So you could see
Or
that
find
coming.
ways. Yeah.
Well, yeah. When you say new building, like just a bigger building to replace the flagship Martin Drive location.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
But I keep thinking there's a lot of people who need help.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. And there's a certain amount of people who've caved in and said, I can't do it anymore. I think there's a much larger group of people who really could use help and either don't know they can or are too proud. And, yeah, I really think that's happening.
Okay.
It's pretty interesting. The whole thing is pretty interesting. I didn't mean to do this. This happened.
Well, Well, you said it was kind of out of your passion and what you and Bob were kind of doing on the side.
Well, actually, I thought somebody else was going to do it. It was a really good idea, and I was out talking about it for a long time. I really thought somebody else was going to jump on this, and then they didn't.
And then it was you. You did. Well,
didn't mean to.
Yeah, but you're still doing it.
Yeah.
And you're going to keep doing it.
We talk about this. A few of my staff members, we're never going to retire. We're just going to die at our desks.
Okay.
Why would you do anything else? I can't. My car just goes there. I can't not be there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good. And you've got a board of directors. You have volunteers.
Spectacular. My staff is ridiculous. These people, they come early, they stay late. It's not a glamorous job, but we're dealing with other people's stuff.
Yeah.
That's not always in perfect condition.
Do you get to take a vacation? Do you ever leave town?
I'm going to the lake today.
Where's the lake? Which lake?
Detroit Lakes.
Okay.
I'm from Fargo.
You're from Fargo. You're from Fargo, and when did you come to Minneapolis or the Minneapolis area?
After college, about 1980. Moved to Eden Prairie in 1984.
Okay.
Yep, got married in 83. Got Bob to move here.
Okay.
Yeah, and ever since.
So you've been here a long time.
Raised the girls as soon as Emmy got into high school, was graduating from high school. Then the prop shop started.
Okay. Is there anybody back in Fargo? Any family or any?
I have a
sister.
Back there? I have a sister and nieces and nephews.
Okay.
Yeah. My parents were older. They had me when they were 44.
Okay.
They were born in 13 and 14.
Okay.
My mom was 7 years old before women could vote.
105 or 106 years ago. She was how old? That's right.
She was in second grade before women could vote.
1920. Yeah.
So I grew up with everybody's grandparents. I grew up with the World War II group.
Sure.
Yeah. So I maybe that was helpful.
Oh, absolutely. The greatest generation.
And my father was the one saying, "You can do it. Tell him you want to run the London branch. Tell him you can do it." That's how I grew up. You can do it. You can do anything.
Tell him you want to run the London
London
branch of Pitney and Bowes.
Yeah.
We're back.
Yeah.
Okay.
I said, "Dad, I've been with the company for 2 weeks." He goes, "You can do it. You know London." I said, "Dad." Yeah, so I grew up.
That's awesome.
You can do it.
Yeah, you can do it, and you're doing it now with the prop shop. We have a Pitney Bowes mailing machine here, so they still sell them.
Oh yeah, they last forever.
Them.
They're good.
Yeah, of course they are, right?
Yeah.
You could pull up your pitch in like 15 seconds.
Right now,
you could.
I could get started.
Right
how much you spend on postage a month? Let's go.
Yeah.
But the prop shop, I just have to say, is kind of an interesting phenomenon. I don't have places like this. A nonprofit might be a thrift store to make money, but they don't do both. So I haven't had a lot of people to be my mentor.
Right.
And so we've just been making our decisions as we go.
Yeah, especially on there are thrift shops, but it's whether it's Arc is kind of a smaller. They're not quite Goodwill.
They're good,
but they're and that's somewhat of a similar scenario.
There's a lot of areas for nonprofits like this to be crooks.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of ways that people can cheat the system, and it really bothers me.
Well, it's going to go unnamed. The actual, and probably because I can't think of it, but there, some of those donation boxes that those are all for profit.
Yeah,
right. Those are just leave your items in this box.
Some guy from Denmark or something.
Right, and so I think there's just a feeling that they'll put that in there, and that's for something like an Arc, a prop shop, and it's fine. I mean, it's for profit. A
lot of people just want to get rid of their stuff. But I find that I give people a tour, and the first thing they want to do is volunteer and help. People don't understand. People don't understand who the need is or why someone has the need. And I think when they have a little more information and education, they jump on the chance to want to help.
Well,
but people don't understand that.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to me.
Yeah.
But as soon as people do understand it, they're very willing to help if they're okay. If these people are okay themselves, they want to reach out and help somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
But not everybody's okay. But they don't know why, and they don't understand it. If we can get past that, I think that's what I'm supposed to do with the rest of my life. I'm supposed to get out there and get this information out to people.
This is one way to do it.
Absolutely.
This is one way to do it.
This is a great one. That's why I said I was so excited about this.
Good. Well, we're almost done.
Okay.
Any
I could talk now for about 8 more hours.
Well, absolutely. I mean,
but I'm not gonna.
The times that
people are safe.
Well, the time that I've been to the prop shop, I mean, you follow me out to my car, and as my car leaves the driveway, you're walking.
I'm still talking.
You're still talking, and as I'm like driving out to Martin Drive, you're walking with me. I mean, your passion is very evident, Cindy.
But it's
awesome.
good, and it's word of mouth.
Yeah.
And I think it makes everybody who donates feel so much better. It's a huge circle. We're recycling. We're helping people. The shoppers are feeling good about it. The donors are feeling great about it. We're helping families who are in need. And what I really didn't anticipate was the volunteers. I didn't realize what it was going to do for volunteers. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of people who are kind of lost who come and they feel so much better about themselves and a different community to come and help. Didn't anticipate that at all.
Well, that's a pleasant surprise.
It's big.
That's awesome.
The prop shop has been a huge amount of pleasant surprises with people and attitude and generosity and kindness and compassion. It's a great place. Everybody needs to go and shop.
Good. Well, that's a good note to
end.
Donate.
You need everything.
Shop and donate. Cindy, thank you.
Thank you. This has been fun. Let's do it again.
We'll do it again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.